Hi, welcome back to the Podsmaker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Podsmaker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion, where I get my name. Now, if you haven't seen the rest of the videos, you might want to go back. But the rest of us, we're on part 3 of chapter 8 of the Potsmaker's Bible, which is chapter 5 of the book of Zion. And it goes, and as I said before, we would start with Isaiah 8, 13 and 14, which is Zion 5, 17 and 18. Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. And he will be for a sanctuary, but for a stone of stumbling, and for a rock of offense, to both houses of Israel, for a gin and for a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Now Isaiah speaks of the sanctification of the gray as God. Let the real living gray aliens be your God. Let them be your reason to fear, and let them be your reason to dread, because they're living. This is telling everyone to forsake their idol gods that are false. Let the aliens be your reason to fear. The gray tell us that God is a sanctuary to the people. They believe God to be a place of refuge. But in fact, the truth makes God's reality a stone of stumbling. This has a double meaning, as does most of the hidden language of the prophecy. This language makes the refuge of God's presence a stone of stumbling, an object of contention. This stone of stumbling is a rock of offense. Its reality creates a problem for Zion and for Israel. It is for a gin and for a snare for Jerusalem. Jerusalem is taking part in the trap set for the people. They are a gin, the mill that that operates the trap that's set for those who take refuge in God's presence. There are two interpretations for this verse. The one is the use of the stone by the Zionite people, and the other is the Israelite rejection of it. The stone of stumbling, this rock of offense, pits the Jewish people of Jerusalem and Israel against the people of Zion, those who embrace the stone versus those who entrap them by its use. For the people of Zion, this stone of stumbling literally makes them stumble when they use it. It is their rock. They embrace it and use it as a sanctuary from the world they live in. They seek it to find peace. But it is a trap that is set to make its use offensive to those around them. Israel and Jerusalem are guilty of taking part in the entrapment of the Zionites, who stumble after being stoned. I'd really like to see Jesus try to make sense out of that. Sorry. Hosea 5, 5 and 6. Zion 5, 19 and 20. And the pride of Israel doth testify to his face. Therefore shall Israel and Ephraim fall in iniquity. Judea also shall fall with him. They shall be with their flocks and with their herds to seek the Lord, but they shall not find him. He hath withdrawn himself from them. Hosea tells us that all of Israel is guilty of pride, and it falls in with the iniquity. This setting of the trap against the people of Zion. Israel will seek the word of the gray, but they are deaf. It is because of their pride that they refuse to realize their part in the persecution of the Zionites. The people that reject, and they reject the stone of stumbling, and they fall into their own trap. Daniel 9:11, Zion 5:21. Yea, all Israel has transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey the voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the laws of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. Daniel 9:11 tells us, it is because of the curse of Moses that Israel rejects the stone of stumbling. Their pride and their deafness lead them to side with the rest of the world against Zion. It is because they sinned against the grave. They had already rejected the stone, the source of telepathy. Malachi 3:6, Zion 5:22. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Malachi tells us that this is Israel's last mistake. They are the blood descendants of Abraham, and they are to be forgiven, and their heritage spared, to keep the promise made to Abraham, that his seed shall never perish. This also talks about the Zionite people, because we are also under the same curse for the same reason. Amos 3:2, Zion 5:23. Ye only have I known of the families of the earth, therefore will I punish you for all of your iniquities. Amos goes on to tell Israel and Zion that they are both guilty of denying the grave, the presence of God, and the means to approach him in their own way. Israel rejects the voice of God and the means to hear that voice. Zion hears the voice of God but rejects the idea of God altogether. For this, both houses of Abraham are punished. Hosea 3:4 and 5, Zion 5:24 and 25. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without teraphim. Afterwards shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their God and David their king, and shall feel the Lord and the goodness in the latter days. Hosea 3:4 and 5 says that Israel will abide many days without the ancient kingdom, the royal trappings of the kingdom, a king and a prince to rule by divine right. But they will look to David, their true king, and to his royal lineage. They will be free of the guilt of other religions based on the Torah. They don't have the idol, like the cross or the sacrifice of Jesus. They have the law. They stay true to the law of Moses, that they reject the idol worship. But they also lack the ephod and the teraphim. The ephod was the priestly vestments that was created to protect the priests from the radiation associated with the Ark of the Covenant. It allowed the priests to interact with the graves safely. The teraphim is a small tree-like bush. There is very little information written about it, but its significance will soon become clear. These two objects of the priesthood were vital to the temple. When Israel returns to the true living grave, they will be reunited with their true God, and their lost glory will return to them. The kingship of the line of David will return. They will be rewarded for their lack of idols, and they will once again communicate with the gray gods. Psalms 105, 6 to 8, Zion 5, 26 to 27. O ye seed of Abraham, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen. He is the Lord our God, his judgments are in all the earth. He hath remembered his covenant to the 1,000 generations. Psalms 105, 6 to 8 establishes the reunion of Israel and the Gray. The Gray keep their promise to Abraham. His judgment for their recorded his judgment for them recorded for all generations. Israel receives the covenant as promised. It's important that Israel is testified to. The Gray loved Abraham. Abraham loved the Gray. For this mutual friendship, all of his children are honored. Amos 5:4, Zion 5:29. For saith the Lord unto the house of Israel, Seek ye me, and ye shall live. This tells Israel to seek the Gray. The Gray are waiting for Israel to once again seek out their God. When the means to communicate with the Gray become known, Israel is to do just that, seek out the voice, return to the Gray by their prophetic means, and the Gray will answer. Nehemiah 2:2, Zion 5:3. For the Lord hath turned away the excellency of Jacob, as the excellency of Israel, for the emptier have emptied out, and marred their vine branches. Nehemiah 2:2 tells us that the Gray have purposely made the means to contact them something to shun, something to turn away from. What was excellent becomes something unwanted. It is something that now empties you out. Now it is made empty for those who mar the branches of the vine. Again, the reference to a plant, the teraphim. This vine branch made ugly, this excellency of Jacob, which has been the excellency of Israel. And there we're going to stop for today. And next time, we will pick up with Hosea 9:17. Okay? So, stay happy and high, my friends. Love you. Later.